Oh, I got him. Oh, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. There he goes. Holy cow. Holy smokes. Good grief, power pull down. Oh, how's it going, everybody? And welcome back to TRF. Nope, don't you do that. Don't you do that. Today we're gonna teach you guys all about how to catch bedfish in the spring that you can't actually see with your eyes when the water is just too dirty to see. How do you still consistently get your bait in the places these fish are spawning and catch fish like this? My name is Tyler Anderson, and let's talk about it. Well, how's it going, folks, and welcome back to TRF. My goal on this channel is to help you guys become better bass anglers and, of course, catch more fish. And so if you are not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? On this channel, we love catching more fish. And so if you're all about that, you're going to like it here on TRF. We have a super fun episode to get to, as I'm sure you are tuned in from that first fish catch right there. We're going to have some awesome fish catches here in Central Texas, here in the spawn. And I want to show you guys exactly how I find and catch bedfish that I can't exactly see with my eyes. But before we hop into that content, I have to say this video is sponsored by my merch, Infinite Outdoors. If y'all are not aware, I started a merch brand called Infinite Outdoors, and the whole goal of Infinite Outdoors is twofold. One, to show that there's infinite possibilities of making memories in the outdoors. So whether it's fishing, hunting, hiking, whitewater rafting, there's so many different ways to spend time with your friends and your family in the outdoors. But then the second part, of course, a very important part to me, is my faith. I believe in a God who loves us so infinitely that he would send his son to die on the cross for our sins so that we can live eternally with him. And so that's kind of the double meaning of Infinite Outdoors. I do have it printed on AFCO shirts like this one right here, the best fishing shirt I've ever worn. This is the AFCO Yuri. I've got a few of these left in stock. I've got a ton of other things. Reapers just got restocked. I've got tons of samurai, long sleeve, hooded fishing shirts, and lots of other cool things on the site. So I will leave it linked in the video description below, as well as pinned to the top of the comments. That is one of the best ways for you guys to help support the channel, is to buy the merch. And the best part is 10% of all the proceeds go to outdoor focused charities. The one right now being Kids Outdoor Zone, an awesome charity here in Texas. And of course, the information on that is linked down in the description as well. So the spawn is finally here, at least in my part of the country, and it will be for you guys here soon if you live anywhere north of where I do in Texas. And spawn is one of my favorite times to catch fish because you can go shallow, you can beat the bank, and you can catch quite a lot of honestly dumb fish that are up shallow that are willing to eat any lure you throw at them. But of course, there's ways that you can target those fish to make your day more efficient than other ways. And so today I'm going to talk about how to find those bedfish in the spring that you know you're bed fishing, but you're just kind of fishing around without actually seeing those fish. There's something incredibly fun about staring a fish down and watching him eat your lure, but I'd say 90% of lakes don't actually give you that opportunity because the water is just not clear enough, especially where I live here in Texas. And so where do you find those fish that have moved up in the springtime without actually being able to see the structure down there and to see those fish? Well, the first thing you have to understand, and I've covered it in a few videos before, is that fish have to spawn in and around hard bottom. And so if I take my rod tip right now and I stick it, well, it's deep actually. There we go. And I stick it down in the water, I feel sand. If I was to go 200 yards that way, or there's not any cattails like this, and I stick the rod tip in the water, I'm gonna feel mud. And so that is one way that you guys can find out what is down there on your pond, lake, body of water, whatever you're fishing is, oh, one sec, folks. A fish just swirled right there, so let me fish as I tell you. As you can tell, I get easily distracted in the spring. Like I was saying, one of the ways to find out what your bottom composition is like if you can't actually see the bottom is to use your rod tip, or I don't know, drag a football jig down there or something, and you'll be able to feel what that bottom composition is like. One way though that you can immediately tell without even using your rod tip is by looking at the type of stuff that's growing. Cattails, pencil reeds, any sort of like reed sort of thing that looks like this, whatever you call it on your home body of water, they have to grow, at least in my experience, on some kind of hard bottom, whether it's sand or gravel. And so if you're fishing down a bank and it's just got, you know, regular looking bank, maybe some docks, and then you have an area that has these things right here, they're not necessarily alive today because we had a horrible freeze. A lot of this stuff froze completely over, but generally they are green, not, you know, whitish yellow. And so when you come upon an area like this, you can know immediately this is hard bottom. And so if the bass are going to be anywhere on the spawn, this is one of the areas they're gonna be. And so what I do before I pick that fishing area is I'll look to your traditional pre-spawn spots. If you were catching them on the inside of a drain, inside of a ditch, if you were catching them on a point, and then you have a shallow water area with hard bottom right next to it, you can almost confirm right away that there will be bass there without even fishing the area. And so that's what I'm gonna do in today's video. I'm gonna pull up on some areas that are close to pre-spawn, kind of winter staging areas, and then the fish slide up real quickly, spawn in that area, and then head back out for the post-spawn in the summer. Now, when it comes to lure selection for this specific situation, we're fishing like shallow reeds today, I'm gonna be throwing a flipping lure just like this one right here. This is a Strike King Rage Bug. I love that it has a slower rate of fall, it has a little bit bulkier of a presence, so it kind of imitates a bluegill, and almost always in the spring, I will dip the tails of my, hopefully y'all can see that there against the sky, I will dip the tail of my craw here, the Rage Bug, in a orange or red or yellow dye, mostly orange. And I'm almost always going to be throwing this on a lighter weight. This here is a 1/8 ounce? Yeah, 1/8 ounce weight right here. 1/8 or 1/16 is great, especially if you're fishing around kind of open water. And as you go into a little bit thicker cover as the day progresses, maybe the sun gets higher and those fish kind of slide underneath that cover, you're gonna wanna, of course, upgrade your weight size. But for the vast majority of times in the spring, I have found those bass like it to have the lure falling and or dragging slowly by them, and that's where the lightweight helps. So in this situation, I know the bass are gonna be spawning in and around these shallow cattails, and so it's most efficient for me to be flipping and pitching a lure like this. Now, when it comes to bed fishing in situations that you can't see and you don't have shallow vegetation, my favorite lure for that situation is going to be the Strike King Game Hog. I have not found a lure as good as the Game Hog is for just casting around and dragging. I'm not saying hopping, I'm saying dragging. So if you've got gravel, if you have rocks, dirty water with rocks, especially like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee type areas, I've really found that this lure right here, drug along the bottom in those spawning areas, while you will have to work this one and of course the flipping lure a little bit slower than you might have been working lures in the pre-spawn, I have found incredible success doing this. Now I have a lot of tournament experience fishing the Strike King Rage Monkey, Rage Craw, I'm having trouble here. The Strike King Space Monkey in and around shallow rocks, and the Game Hog is just a little bit more of a natural, less intrusive version. So if your water is really dirty, maybe go with the Space Monkey. If it's a little bit cleaner, but you still can't quite see the bedfish, I'd go with the Game Hog. Now, if you're curious about how to rig these soft plastics, it's just a standard Texas rig, and I cover that in my How to Rig Every Soft Plastics video, which I will have linked below in the video description as well. That way I don't take time in this video because I know you guys want to see the fish catches. But the gear that I have today for this situation, I like to flip on fluorocarbon. I know a lot of guys like to flip on braided line. I just have confidence in fluorocarbon, especially 20-pound Seaguar Invisex fluorocarbon. I think it's one of the best, strongest, most flippable, castable fluoros out there, and I have had almost zero issues breaking off, even in sparse to heavy reeds like we're fishing today. And especially around wood, I'm not gonna fish braided line. I've got this combo here on the loose Super Duty reel. I believe though this reel might be discontinued. I'll link whatever reel that I like for flipping second to this one down below, as well as the line will be linked below. And this here is the brand new KVD rod by Lew's, and I think it's $99 or $120, something like that. Relatively inexpensive for as far as, nice bass fishing gear goes. This is what Kevin designed to fish on the Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour, and this is the 7.4 heavy. I love flipping and throwing a frog shallow on a 7.4 heavy. I don't think there's a better rod, power, action, and length for this specific situation. So hopefully this all makes sense to you guys, but I don't want to bore you with any more details. I want to get on the front deck and show you guys exactly how I'm working this, how slow I'm having to work it to get these bites and pick apart these areas, and of course, show you some big old Texas bass. So I'll top on the front deck. As I promised, we get a weight on this fish. Now these fish are spawning, so I do want to get this fish back to the bed as soon as possible. Not gonna do a big 5-fish limit picture today. That is not moral during this time. That fish should go 6. That should go every bit of 6, I think. It is, yep, I'm right. 6.56. 6.5 pounder on the Connect scale. Let's stinking go. We're gonna get one quick picture of this fish right here and let her go. Thank you, Mr. 6.5, or Mrs. 6.5 pounder, I should probably say. Gonna let you get rejuvenated. Bite my thumb, thank you for that. I appreciate the kisses. Takes these big girls in the spawn a little bit to get going usually. Oh, there you go. Adios. Well folks, I think we are just getting started. So let's put the camera back up there and catch some more fish. I forgot to click on that fish. That is fish 52 of the year for me, trying to get to 1,000. Stay tuned, y'all, for the whole year. See if we get there. Again, I had to fish slow to get that bite. I had fished through this whole stretch, literally flipping every single tiny pocket, and the one that fish was sitting in, I didn't even think was that good looking of a little hole in these cattails. It just happened to be the one that she was sitting in. So that both speaks to the amount of possible places they could be sitting on beds, and also the amount of fish that could be in here, because I could have missed fish in the last 50, 60 yards from where I started. As a matter of fact, I almost guarantee that I did. And it was just that I stumbled upon this one. So in the spring, don't be afraid to fish behind people. You know, if whether you're on the bank or on the boat, if somebody's fishing down it and you know, you roll up after they're there and you're kind of worried if they caught all the fish, they probably haven't. Fish are moving in and out constantly in the spring, and especially when you can't see them like you can't today, people are gonna miss a lot of fish. Like, it's totally possible that I would have missed that fish. But luckily I didn't. You know what I think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go down this whole bank just fishing the outside edge. Then I'm gonna come back, fish the inside edge. Because I'm sure that I'm missing stuff right now, you know, on this inside edge. It's probably really juicy because I'm focusing so much on these outside clumps. So we are going to just focus on the outside. So I'm gonna back out a little bit, even though I've caught two, you know, really close to the boat. And I'm just gonna focus on this outside edge and come back. And it is all about the silent entry. That was not a silent entry. I've had way more silent than that, but you really want to be as still as possible when you're flipping in there. Just quietly land it. Do not want to spook the fish, because I've seen in bed fishing when I can actually see them, the difference between throwing a high flip like that and throwing one that's real close to the water that has almost no splash. The almost no splash one oftentimes is the one that allows that fish to stay comfortable on its bed. And of course, in dirtier water like this, you're gonna have a little more leeway with that, but I still think making a really soft impression, flipping it up there and stopping it right as it's at the target, is gonna get you more bites. Got him. Big one. Get out of there. Get out of there. That's a big one. That's a big one. That's a good one, folks. That's a beauty. Just like that, folks. Working real slow in a little pocket, and we got us a good one. Ha 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 ha. Just like that. Top of the mouth with the rage bug. Hook popped right out. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Gonna get a selfie for the gram and let this one go. All right. Now that we've done a full run down the outside of this edge, I don't know, 1,000 yards or so, we're gonna head back. It is really slow. I'm not gonna say there's a whole lot of fish in here. If there are, we're missing a whole lot, but I picked basically every hole apart on the outside edge. Now we're gonna flip the inside. I may tie on a heavier weight version of this flipping lure because it is a little bit thicker up in there, and while I want the slow fall rate, I think I'd rather have the ability to fish you know, efficiently in that stuff, and this lightweight I don't think is going to allow that. So I'll still leave this light one on. I've got another 7.4 heavy right there that I can put a heavier flipping bait on. Gosh, there's one. Oh, that was crazy. My gosh, that fish did Olympic jump right there. That fish was just kind of right in this general open area. Gosh dang it. Why am I losing these fish? I think I'm playing them too long. I'm trying to get you guys as the viewers in on the experience and tell you things as I catch the fish. I should catch the fish and then tell you things. That's two dang fish that I can't add to my clicker. I'm a dummy. Gosh, there's one, there's one. Holy cow, had to slackline him there. That was cool, that was cool. My line is all kinds of backlash to my reel right now. He's not even that big. Oh, get in the boat. Gee, I flipped in there and I was literally taking out a backlash and I saw my line go zoom. And so I had no time, but I had to set the hook. Beautiful. Again, I just love the way this bait gets them right in the top of the mouth every time. Doesn't mean they're always gonna get in the boat, but most of the time they will. We're gonna go ahead and ding that fish on my clicker. All the cattails that have a little bit more water on them, a little bit more depth, that's where all these fish are sitting at. And I need more of these. I'm all out. Let me find one. Got it. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. Get in this boat, you fool. Oh, beautiful area that I flipped in there. Absolutely gorgeous little pocket. And I thought there's gotta be a fish in there. And guess what? I was right. I was right. I'm not always right, but sometimes I'm right. I just love catching bass, y'all. And what I love getting to do is go like this. That's bass 59 for me this year. Let's go. See you, bud. Another one. There he is. Oh, this is fun. This is so much fun. Get in here. Oh, that's a pretty one. That one's got all kinds of spots on him. Look at this guy. Look at the black spots he's got on his tail, on his head. That's pretty dang cool. Again, a beautiful fish. Oop, I didn't power pull down. And he needed that heavier weight to get into his house and get him out of there. Awesome. And click. Got him. There he is, there he is. Get out of there. Get out of there, buddy. Ha ha ha. What a way to end. What a way to end. Bring it in. Yes, sir. That's a chunker. That's a chunky dunk. Ugh. Had to get back in some sticks with some reeds around them. I got myself that chunky dunk right there. Heck yeah. Well, folks, I think we are going to end it there. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. If you didn't, you got something wrong with you, and we'll see you next time.